So what did you know about the tombs before going?
I didn't know.
You didn't know they were going there? Have you seen them before?
No. I didn't know anything about the tombs before we went there.
Perhaps not intentionally, hadn't done any reading on the tombs beforehand. I didn't really know what to expect.
I've been to the pyramids. I've been to a lot of places around the world, but this is next level.
Absolutely monumentally massive carvings in rocks that are maybe 50, 60 stories high.
It's a miracle how they carved that out of the rock.
If you look at the attention to detail, every single line is symmetrical.
And some of the designs were so intricate. That was amazing. That was the first thing I remember looking at and thinking, wow, these have been really well preserved considering they've probably been for a couple of thousand years. And then we find out, no, they've been here for 5,000 years. They were carved 3,000 years BC.
But no matter how much you describe them to someone, you will never be ready for the sheer beauty and size and scale of these things.
It's kind of mind-blowing and humbling, and it gives you this feeling of somewhat insignificance, but at the same time real significance. I felt really lucky to be there.
That rock formation, I don't know. I just don't know how many people. I just can't imagine. You can't even understand what it took to make all this stuff.
Yeah, I can't really comprehend that in words, how special that was.
We spent some time there appreciating our surroundings and what we're looking at, and then we had to move on to our next destination.
So we got to the Golden Tulip, and the initial plan was to go to Umlaj, which is I think a 4 or 5, 6 hour drive south. That got scrubbed pretty quickly.
It's been more or less non-stop adventure for all of us. And to actually enjoy more than one night at a hotel and this amazing resort was very well needed.
All good. Ready for a new day, new adventures, new surprises.
What surprise?
I'm a beach guy. Love the beach.
I slept so heavy this morning. It was so hard to get up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
For some
slept like
reason,
a baby.
I guess
Like
we
a
are
big
waiting
baby,
for
you know?
Saud and Mohammed.
Those white barrels over there, that building with the hangar, that's Jordan, and that's a Jordanian port. Okay, and opposite us, you see two hotels, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, the one to the left is in Egypt.
Taba.
Taba.
Now.
Taba Hotel, and the one on the right is Eilat.
So Jordan, Palestine, Egypt.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia. So this is the upper point of the Gulf of Aqaba.
Yeah.
All the way there. That's the end of the Gulf. Yeah, 4 countries harboring.
We went to Wadi Tayib, which for me, I think was the highlight of this entire trip.
I mean, you turn around and it's just 100 yards of sand and then this giant gorge.
This huge, incredible, deep cavern, you know, carved away by water for millions of years.
I mean, the scale of it, I was filming on my little vlogging camera and there was no way a camera could do that justice.
That's one of the most beautiful places on earth.
I've seen some weird and wild and wonderful places in my time, but this is going to be hard to top. This is beautiful. Wow.
This is incredible. This is absolutely amazing. It's like Jurassic Park.
The tomb site of Shu'aib, which is a mini Mada'in Saleh, which I didn't even know existed.
So people used to live here, and then when they died, this turned into their tomb.
One thing that surprised me was there was a place with such historical significance, and I had no idea it was there.
Blue water with this giant, just almost looks like, reminds me like a pirate ship. And we got the drone up and you see how large and how massive it is just falling over the shelf on the other side.
Parked the cars up on the beach at the point of the shipwreck and I immediately knew I needed to be on that boat. I needed to swim out to that boat. So myself, Sultan, Chris and Kevin, we decided to swim out to the boat.
So little did they know, they were swimming probably surrounded by sharks.
Which at the time, had I have known they were shark infested with blood pouring off my feet, probably wouldn't have swum, but makes a cool story.
We're out of diesel. We're in the middle of nowhere. But at least the weather's nice.
We arrived to this beach with what can only be described as a plane that looks like it's been crash landed. It looks like it hit the sand pretty hard and bits of it have snapped off.
First thing all of our friends did was just try to climb it.
And it's a wonder that it's still there. It's like over 40 years, the sea hasn't eaten it up.
Something you will never really see anywhere else. I mean, where else do you have a non-tourist infected place where you've got a plane just lying on a gorgeous beach which has been there for years and years and years?
The plane itself, it was an old 1930s seaplane that had been bought in the late 60s by an American family who wanted to travel the world and explore.
Mr. Kendall was a businessman who purchased this plane from the US Navy. He did a world tour with his wife, or girlfriend, secretary, and daughter, and a photographer of Time magazine.
And they landed the plane in the water, so in the Red Sea. And the people that were on the plane were captured by local Bedouin tribes who, as I say, assumed they were bad guys, and turned them into the authorities in Jeddah, and they were later released, so nobody got killed, nobody got injured. I kind of hadn't allowed myself to think at this point that we were at the end of the tour, and it wasn't until we were walking back to our cars that Talal called me over and said, "So John, this is it, that's the end of the tour." And I was kind of like, no, I'm not ready for it to finish yet.
So I'm not gonna lie, I did not want to drive to Riyadh. I've done it before, been there, done that, don't like it. It's boring, it's pointless, there's no need for it. So if we had driven, the original plan was for us to go from Sharma, 9 hours to Yanbur, then we sleep in Yanbur, and then we take then we do a 10 to 11 hour drive to Riyadh. That's Google Maps. When we stop at a gas station, that's another hour gone. So it was going to turn into 10 to 12 to 13 hours.
So today, after 3 days here, we're going to go to Riyadh. We're going to take a flight to watch the Formula E. So that should be relaxing. That should be very chill.
Arriving in Riyadh, I think we were all very happy to take the plane rather than doing the 1,500 kilometer drive, which was going to be very, very long.
Every time I get to a big city, I gravitate to people and to big cities and to big lights. When I just saw just the lights when we were landing, I was like, game time. And then obviously 6 Suburban convoy. It was a porterhouse operation.
We were all speaking about how we were recalibrating our brains to be able to take in and admire all of these different things we were seeing. Because you calibrate your brain and you educate yourself on a desert and what makes the desert gorgeous and analyzing all the different sides of it. But then you end up in a financial district and you have to be, looking and appreciating how gorgeous a skyscraper is.
We don't see TV shows in the UK about Riyadh. We don't see TV shows about Riyadh architecture. So there we are going, look at these amazing buildings, things we'd never ever seen before.
This is the cherry that we're whacking on the top. We're going to the Formula E. So it's going to be incredible.
A really bizarre, yet somehow fitting experience. Electric cars racing around a street circuit in a country that has no circuits, has no history of motorsport, and we're kind of like the first to see it.
Riyadh hosted a great event in the Dir'iyah. They did a great job.
So we've gone from seeing the most drastic contrast of history, as far back as we can go, the beginnings of human civilizations through to the very latest in innovation and electronic motorsport. And yeah, what a privilege, amazing.
When the guys arrived in Jeddah, we took their measurements and had some Saudi traditional thobes made for them. And when we got to Riyadh, the thobes were ready, so everybody decided to wear them.
The amount of attention that we got was incredible. I think it took 100 pictures that day of people like, "Oh, you guys look amazing!" And it's, I don't know, it felt like we had some good game that day.
The highlight of my trip was the people that I met on this trip. I came here with friends and I'm leaving with brothers.
Crimson flames tied through my ears, flowing high and mighty trapped. Countless fire and flaming road, using
Everything you could ever dream of having on a road trip has been in this trip. An unbelievable cluster of mind-blowing and eye-opening experiences.
so much older then, I'm younger than that now.
It's just to see like this incredible, massive, untouched nature, and I would say rather undiscovered country. It's been something special, and I'll never ever forget it.
Romantic flanks of musketeers, foundation deep somehow. Oh, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now.
Again, everything here, everything that we've been to see has got such an incredible story behind it. You know, you could write a book about everything we've seen, individually.
What's great about this trip is I've been able to see places I didn't even know existed here.
In the instant that I reach, sisters fled by confusion boats, mutiny from stern to bow. Ah, but I was so much older.
Words don't do justice for what I just experienced. I feel like I had an outer body experience. I mean, this trip is unbelievable.